Okay, brake fluid looks okay. I don't know how long it's been in there, and this stuff absorbs atmospheric water. It takes humidity out of the air. That becomes part of the brake fluid, and at high temperatures, of course, it doesn't take it. It boils, it vaporizes. Now you're squeezing on partly gas, not just fluid, because at the end of the day, if you've got bubbles in your system, your brake lever is spongy. And if your brake lever is spongy, first thing to do is change your brake fluid. So we're going to work back from the furthest point, and then the other side, and then up top on the cylinder. So first off, just make sure these little guys are clean and dust free before you give them a little crack off. And then we need to find a spanner to fit on there. Pretty sure that'll be 8mm, and some tubing for there, and a bottle for the tubing to drain that brake fluid into, the old brake fluid, so we can just bleed it out for new. So we're just doing it to change it. Obviously, if you've done anything to the calipers and you've got to actually get new brake fluid in there, you're going to find there's a lot more air, a lot more bubbles to get out that you've got into the system. Technically, there shouldn't be any bubbles in this system, but we'll see. Either way, let's get some clean brake fluid in this bike. Oh, and also, of course, doing this, I've noticed the fork seals, or this side fork seal, is just weeping. So not only do we have shock coming out now on this bike, the front forks are going to come out and have those seals done and have those forks refurbished, if you like. New oil and so on. Let's begin. Also, one more thing, brake fluid is corrosive, it strips paint, so put some rags over stuff it might drip on, certainly when you go up top to the cockpit area to do that cylinder. And you're going to need some pipe. You can get air line from fish tanks that you can heat up the end, usually push on with a bit of work if you're lucky. You can buy it online, you can buy brake bleeding kits at an automotive shop, or if your wife's a nurse, she can probably find some oxygen tube that might have nice soft ends that fit perfectly over the end. But basically, that needs to be an airtight seal. If it isn't, as you pump it out, it will draw air in and look like you're forever pumping air out of your system, and you won't know why. Then constantly these bubbles are coming in, and it'll be air being drawn in around the side of the pipe where it pushes over. Don't make that mistake. So we're going to top that up. We don't want it to run out past that little pipe, or it's going to suck air in. It's got to stay topped up while we're bleeding the brakes. Use the correct brake fluid. Check out your owner's manual. Don't use brake fluid that you've had lying around on the shelves if it's been opened. If it's been opened, this is not airtight, but there's also air in. If you've used half of it, then it's got air in the bottle, even if that's airtight. And it'll technically draw moisture out, so really you want a fresh bottle for sure. $8mm ring spanner. use what you like, a Coke can, the correct thing, made for the purpose. Heavy glass bottle, hole punched in the lid, pipe work in there, got a looper line. It will help you if you've got brake fluid in the bottom, the pipe's in it. Then once it's blown itself empty of line, or the fluid's run out, it can't suck air up. But we're going to watch this line. We're not going to suck air back in. And it's a simple process. Apply pressure with one hand to the brake lever. Hold the pressure. Crack off the bleed nipple. Let the pressure go. And with your other hand, crack on the bleed, tighten the bleed nipple. Pressure, crack off, let it squirt like you're milking a cow. And every time you hold that lever down, you crack that off, let the pressure out, nip it up before pumping again. Keep it pressurized, so every time you undo that, pressure's blowing it out. You don't want to be sucking backwards and forwards. So we're going to give a couple of pumps, hold it against the bar, crack off that nipple lower down, let that fluid flow, tighten the nipple, and then release the lever, pump again, pull to the bar, crack the nipple, and so on. Do not let this disappear. Don't you put air into the system. And we're starting furthest away from the brake cylinder. Pump, release, tighten, let go of the lever, pump the lever, hold the lever, release, keeping the lever held tight, nip it up, don't over tighten this nipple, let go of the brake lever, pump, hold the lever firmly, pulling the brakes on, release the nipple, tighten the nipple, pump the brakes, pull the brake lever, release the nipple, tighten the nipple, let go of the brake lever, pump, pulling the brakes on again, push that pressure out. Always tightening the nipple before you let go of the brake lever. We don't want to be drawing air back up. I'm trying to renew the brake fluid, so I want to get that reservoir emptied almost, not letting any air in the system, and we'll refill it, keep on going, and then we'll start on the brakes on the other side. Time to top up. So I've done pretty much a whole reservoir full. that. That's not coming out the cylinder, that's drawing it out. That's not air in the system. Now it's time to top. Look how clear that is. Very different indeed. So time to top up to the full. Don't over tighten. Whatever you do. Put your dust caps back on. Up to the full mark. And we've got a little membrane that A, keeps the moisture out and stops air bubbles shaking around and getting in there, because it draws down as your brake fluid level decreases. It very much looks like moisture on the lid there. Do not let dust and grit, and brake fluid needs to be kept clean. So always clean your reservoir before you take it to bits, your nipples, everything. Make sure, spot this, not wet with water. That just sits in there. Sealing ring on the top. So you can see at the full mark, the bottom of that rubber gasket is touching the surface of the brake fluid. There's room above for expansion, pushing the rubber gasket up, but we haven't really got any air in there. Imagine if you're shaking loads of air around, and the bubble gets sucked down there, your problem's straight back. And just make sure you've got some towels and stuff. That's it. It doesn't have to be bollock tight. It's plastic on plastic, tight, but not. Don't keep going. It's got a safety bracket on there. The front of this bike's stripped down because it already is. You can do this with your nose cone attached. It'll just be a little bit fiddlier. There we are, front brake's done. Fresh fluid throughout. Rear caliper, clean it off, dust it off. 8mm ring spanner. Just the same. Oh. Couple of screws on this one. Take the reservoir lid off. Very discoloured. make sure screws are done up, don't over tighten them, clean up all the excess brake fluid. Equally, make sure your bleed nipple's done up, don't over tighten it, make sure your dust cap goes back on. And again, another clear reservoir and system of nice clean fluid, not horrible discoloured old stuff that is not improving or helping with our braking at all. So full bike now has clean brake fluid. Brakes are great, by the way. The discs and pads are really good on this bike. So luckily, a braided line's been put on, so just the brake fluid needed.